Northern Sudan, where a country once promising a democratic transition now lies in ruins. In Darfur, families are fleeing again, hospitals are emptied, and entire displacement camps have been smashed. This is not a new war, but it is a deeper collapse. The conflict that ripped Sudan apart began in April 2023 when two rival forces, the Sudanese Armed Forces and the Rapid Support Forces, turned on one another. What followed is now one of the world's largest and fastest growing humanitarian crises. Tens of thousands killed and millions forced from their homes. Darfur, a region with a long history of violence, has again become ground zero. Camps that housed people who fled earlier waves of violence have been attacked. Between intense shelling, drone strikes, and raids on camps, humanitarian access have been cut off in many places. Aid workers describe scenes of burnt tents, bodies in the streets, and terrified families on the move. The scale is staggering. UN and humanitarian agencies estimate roughly 40,000 people have been killed since the fighting escalated, and more than 12 million people have been forcibly displaced, the largest displacement crisis in the world. Across Sudan, more than 30 million people need humanitarian assistance. Parts of Darfur face rising famine risk. The immediate trigger was the breakdown of a power-sharing transition after the 2019 fall of Omar al-Bashir. Rival military commanders fought for control, old militia networks were reactivated, and paramilitary forces were transformed into powerful regional actors. That powder key ignited into open warfare in April 2023. Reports from UN investigators and humanitarian organizations list attacks on civilians, humanitarian facilities, and medical teams.
6 months ago, I stood here and thought that the worst had passed. It didn't.
In North Darfur, entire displacement camps were overrun, killing dozens and forcing hundreds of thousands to flee again. Aid workers warn of possible war crimes and mass atrocities. The African Union has publicly condemned the attacks and urged restraint, while the AU Peace and Security Council has repeatedly called for de-escalation and protection of civilians. The UN has intensified appeals for humanitarian access and has warned of severe civilian suffering. European governments and the United States have condemned the violence and pledged diplomatic pressure and sanctions tools. The EU says it will use all diplomatic instruments to push for an end to the fighting. The war's complexity is worsened by external actors. Some governments have been accused of supporting armed groups or providing drone and logistic capability. For viewers watching from afar, this is more than headline numbers. It is families without food, neighborhoods with no clinics, children who won't go to school. The crisis in Darfur is part of a larger collapse in Sudan, and the longer the world waits, the deeper the wound. I am Margaret Kimani. Subscribe for follow-ups and share this to keep the story alive.